We didn't ever really. When did you start smoking weed?
Me?
Yeah,
When I was 3.
he's 3. Now let's elaborate on that.
It's
What it do, everybody? Welcome to another episode of No Turntables and Two Microphones. I'm LT Woods, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host Matt Thornton.
And we're back.
Oh, we're back. Yeah. Long trip. For real. Yeah, that's cool. Up a little more. Just feels like, there you go. That's better. Yep, just got back. Well, we just got back from the cannabis tattoo event. That was rad this weekend.
Yeah, first one.
Yep. Got Doke here.
What's up?
Nathaniel Doke.
Shindoku Warrior.
Yeah. Nathan Doke, my hetero life mate. Yeah, so we had the cannabis event this weekend. Doke did not come up. What were you doing? That was too important. You couldn't hang out with us.
I was narfling the Garthog.
Narthane the Garthog.
We must narfle the Garthog. I was hanging out with my wife.
Congratulations.
We celebrated 9 years of marriage. It was pretty awesome.
And we didn't get any applause on that, but that's cool.
Crickets.
Niner. It's just a 9.
9 times.
It's not even a 10, really.
Wasn't. Well, you can always strive for 10. That's
It was
coming
good.
up soon.
Crab legs and stuff, you know.
Where'd y'all go?
Cajun Crab House.
Okay.
It was like the first crab house in Missouri, or in Columbia, Missouri.
There's a lot of them now. In St. Louis, at least.
There's ones downtown. There's one like a block away from Cajun Crab House now.
What about that in Columbia now, how all the alleys have restaurants in them or whatever
There's
downtown?
the
Or one of them does or something?
yeah. There's the sushi place down there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Kampai.
Not what was going on in those alleys when I was running around.
No, I remember being like 14 and drinking 40s in there, and dodging the police and trying to scrounge change to go to gun.
Motherfucker will rent anything nowadays.
Vodka and Dr. Pepper.
Crazy.
Anything you could get the bums to buy you.
Yeah. Do y'all remember the bum called Stretch?
Oh, of course. He had. To
I
go
do now.
for a little
I do
while.
now.
And he he settled in Paquin Towers. He was a Packy pal for a while.
My Aunt Lisa used to work in the ER, and she was like, he's not homeless. Like, he had, like...
Oh, dude, that dude was a veteran and stuff. He got a monthly check and just pissed it all away.
Yeah, and like his sister was helping him or something, right?
You know, he just liked hanging out with the street people because, you know, the estranged veteran type person.
Yeah.
There was another person down there, Captain Kirk, and he was pretty amazing. He was supposedly one of those dudes that they experimented on LSD with and stuff.
What about?
He was like more sober when he was drunk. Like he was get like 2 bottles of Mad Dog in him. He was more sober than if he was like fresh in the day. Like he wouldn't recognize you, but at night when he's hammered, he was with it. You know.
Who was it? There was a whole bunch of people who used to go up Packy Powers and.
Oh, there's a bunch of them. Yeah. Paquin Towers. You could always hit them up for.
What was that other
strange
place?
drugs.
Where was that other place over off of Hit Street that we used to, there's a tower over there. Was that Paquin Tower?
That's Paquin Towers.
Was that?
I'm thinking of Oak Tower. Oak Tower is over off of
Garth? Yeah.
Garth.
There was one right by my elementary school. I went to Robert E. Lee Elementary over there.
No longer relevant.
Yeah. Surprised they changed that.
Oh, Lee?
Yeah, but there was
I've heard of it. I know where
like
it's
some
at.
wild, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess the side note would be we all lived in Columbia.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's lots of no one that I can talk to anymore about that stuff. So I find it's interesting.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So that's.
I was thinking about something that like Captain Mo Green posted the other day of like he's always posting like old St. Louis photos and shit, and I think about like even how things changed from like I was thinking he was asking me something. I was like, yeah, fool. Like when you used to come to St. Louis when you lived in Columbia, like back in the day, it wasn't like it is here now. Like it was kind of like a nicer place in a way.
It was crispy back in the day. I
Yeah,
remember coming
like
up there buying hats and
come to the zoo or like the old baseball,
concerts.
the old baseball arena and shit. Like it was just different. Like, and I don't know.
I guess it wasn't as much for me because I'm from here, and then I lived in Columbia, and when I would come back here, it was just to the hood where I'm from. Right. You know, it's like North.
Yeah, I
County.
don't imagine the hood has changed.
Not
much.
too much. It's it's gotten where I'm from. It's just gotten a little better because there's just less people now. But
Yeah.
Well, and in the early, you had a lot of crack in the early 80s.
the crack
and shit,
hit.
so-
Yeah, the crack hit over there.
Oh, crack hit everywhere.
The
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Once or twice. Allegedly.
Allegedly. I heard people from out of state would come sell crack here.
Venture into St. Louis.
Strangely enough.
Make a little money. No, people, it seems like, would roll through Columbia all the time and peddle their wares and stuff. It was always a hot spot in between Kansas City and St. Louis. And people, even on the way up to Chicago, would dip in sometimes and ducking and diving and stuff.
that downtown was just, you know, I used to be a downtown kid. You know,
Yeah,
I used to, you know,
same.
we were all running around different,
Yeah.
you know, and it's the homeless people down there, the unhoused, they're fucking wild.
Yeah, that's an understatement, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they could do, like, there's not very many of them, and so they just kind of put up with them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, I think they just, oh, it's Stretch again, you know, or,
Yeah.
oh, it's,
when I worked at Jimmy John's downtown, like I would just let him sleep on one of the benches and give him sandwiches and shit. Just 'cause,
Yeah.
you know, can't really be too mean to the homeless guy. And
Do y'all remember the dude that would dance at the intersection over there?
the dancing cowboy.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah,
And
bro.
then like Club Vogue gave him a top hat and a jacket and shit. They used to, when I went to Jeff Junior High right there, I'd see him every morning.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
waving and
that,
dancing.
I forgot that Club Vogue, like, hired him.
Yeah, they like jazzed him up. He had free passes. if he danced.
What's that dude?
He would like hand him out. At the
Yeah.
lights.
What's the dude that owned Jay Yeager? Trying to think of the old V. That's the V.
Is it?
It's the V. It's not the Vogue. It's the V.
The chalice.
The Chalice. Welcome to the Chalice.
Did either of y'all ever know a guy called Jason Crowley downtown? They called him
Still
Street.
down there.
I just seen his fucking Facebook.
Have you seen
Is out of control.
his van on Reddit?
No.
Yeah, well, he travels around in this like minivan that's like, you know, the old lady in Labyrinth where she's like got all that shit packed on her back and stuff. It looks like that.
Really? Oh, I would like to see it. That guy made me.
It's on Reddit.
I'm sure he won't hear it. I don't give a fuck if he does. But that was a unsettling scene with that dude and all the younger kids because he's older than me, you know.
Yeah.
And like the kids from high school, they were all like thought he was cool and a street Jesus they called him. And I went to high school with his cousin who was also named Jason Crowley, who was nice. I liked his cousin, but that dude, that downtown dude, was
His
fucking wild.
cousin was named the same thing.
Yeah.
No, mental illness and, you know, not dealing with it. And
Yeah.
he's touched in the head and meth.
Even back then, he was gnarly. Yeah.
Yeah. I hung out downtown a lot and stuff too, and I'd see those guys, but they're always like meowing and doing like weird fucking
Yeah. I
and just trying to be strange, which was cool too, but like, because we were all being strange just by hanging out downtown, you were being kind of a weird person, you know?
What about the dude named Casket? Did you know him? I
Casket?
believe his real name was Ray. He's like
No.
He was really nice.
Eyeball.
Eyeballs, Matt something.
Remember Eyeball?
I feel like he was friends with Casket, but that might just be because of these names.
But Eyeball was like not. Well, he was homeless too, kind of, right, for a while. But then he
He was in and off. He went to prison for a little bit. He like got out. I think he's in like Florida now. I don't know.
looks like he would be in Florida.
He definitely belongs in Florida. He was like beefcaked out and shit.
No, I remember. That's not. It took me a second for it to like chime up.
So just the weird people that roam around like don't know. There's lots of weirdos that roam around Columbia.
It's like a catch-all, them in between college towns.
Mm-hmm. It's so easy to live there, you know.
Yeah, it's cheap and
So cheap. I love it.
yeah. My first apartment, although this was in 2002, was $350 for a 2-bedroom apartment. It was in the Columbia's like bad area, kind of, but
Where was that?
that's Scott Boulevard.
Yeah.
Oh, like Mesa and shit.
Bellevue was the street. Yeah. I believe you lived on the street over, right?
Yes,
Or did you?
Bethany.
Bethany?
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
I might have. Yeah.
yeah.
out there
I've heard.
yeah, that was where all things came to an end for me. Yeah, for sure.
That neighborhood, every time I go to Columbia, I drive through there, and it's still like, oh yeah, it's still gnarly. Just
Stinks.
yeah, just,
Oh, it's not. Yeah,
it's like a
I've got
pathway for the sewage system and stuff, and for some reason it just stinks worse there than it does
There's a
in
picture
Columbia.
of me in front of my apartment there on my Instagram still.
is there?
I think I had like several years like sober by the time that we showed up and did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was one time. So my parking lot was like, connected to the backyards of those houses on the Bethany or whatever, and there was always these pit bulls. It was like a fucked up house, And one day I pulled up and the pit bull was off the chain and it climbed the fence to get to me. So I just had to drive around for a couple of hours. Like, yeah, I'm just going to fucking. The dog just climbed the fence like it was a human. So,
I always found that if you run directly at the dogs, it at least gives you an extra second or two to run away from them because they don't know what to do.
yeah.
That was always a trick that I learned, hopping fences and stuff, just being a...
I was in my old Caprice. I just was like, nope, I'm leaving.
I love Caprices.
Yeah, 90. It was
Ooh, bubble body.
it was the last year. There was the box. It was
The last of the boxes.
I still have the key on my keychain. It was a cop car. It wasn't
had
a
an
Caprice
82.
Classic. It was 350 Interceptor.
Oh,
It was. I had that car. I drove it. I had other cars during, but I had that car for 10 years. It had 300,000 miles on it.
yeah. Mine got T-boned. I had an 82, and it had the 30 something, 305,
The
307.
key is worn smooth, but it would start it still.
Mine was a tank. It got T-boned, and like the frame was bent, and it had a wobble. You couldn't drive over 65 and stuff. I still drove it for a while because this is
They're great cars.
Can't drive 65.
so.
I would love the bubble body, the round body, the wagon. I always wanted a wagon.
Those wagons are cool. The bubble bodies were always one of my faves. And then like they finished off the Caprice series in '96 with the Chevy Impala SS. That was just, that's always the like pinnacle of cars for me.
Have you seen the new Impalas, like the 2023 Impalas?
I have. They're pretty spicy. And then in 2013 they issued a government Caprice.
Really?
Yeah, I think you can get them now. They're like $6,000 or something.
Nice. Yeah,
They're
that,
all right.
that new Impala coming down the pike is pretty slick.
I'm always down for an Impala. They're always pretty. They kind of petered off for a while, like in the 2000s.
Yeah, they made that one with the little round tail light.
It's just that thing was weak. I never knew one that lasted too long.
I decided not to own any after my 64. I stopped there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard, but that was a good year for them.
Word on the street. Omar's got a 65 Bel Air. It's fucking slick.
I remember your Impala. It got traded around a little bit. We got to see it
Oh yeah,
once or twice.
yeah.
I got to move it once or twice, I think. Maybe even 3 times. No, it was 3 times. It was an awesome looking Impala. It just didn't have an interior, and
Well, the interior was being worked on.
I'm sure.
It was. Well, I had Adam Curry working on it. That's probably where, to be honest, that's probably where all the frame parts and everything were for the seats and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I paid for all of the vinyl because that's why like the top was done inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was supposed to be finishing those seats.
So how did you two meet?
The story of
The origins.
Well, allegedly, I was on a run with a friend of mine, and I ended up rolling over to a trailer park in Columbia, over off of Creasy Springs, and to deliver some goods. And I had some really good hash, some from like, I don't know, Turkey or Afghanistan stuff that got smuggled back here somehow. And so I had it in my pocket, and I rolled up to this house, and LT's sitting there with like a pit bull on each side and cornrows. and it was pretty awesome.
Allegedly.
And so I was like, you guys want to smoke some hash? And he was like, fuck yeah. And so like our first experience of hanging out, we smoked some fine Turkish hash. And
Didn't I go out with Jamie and fucking Ben that night? Was that the same night?
it was near then. And then like LT just started hanging around, you know, he just ended up.
Well, Ben was my roommate.
Yeah, Big Head Ben.
Yeah,
Big Head Ben.
Yeah. So everybody's outside nowadays anyway, so it doesn't even really matter. But yeah, like my roommate, so my baby mama had left the house and my roommate moved in, and he was a shaker and a mover. Pretty much his whole family shakers and movers. They still are, really.
Yeah.
And you know, and so that's where we ran into each other over there.
How old were y'all?
I was ripe. I think I was 20. 21.
I wasn't tattooing yet.
No.
So I wasn't, I was probably like 25, 24, 25. Because I didn't start tattooing until I
How
was,
old are you now?
Me?
Yeah.
45.
Okay.
I'm just a little bit younger than LT. So.
oh yeah.
Both you guys got these heads of hair.
Yeah. Yeah, we grew those ourselves.
I take full responsibility.
Yeah. I was growing it since I was a child, really.
Yeah.
No, but
Got it
LT started hanging around our
from my
crew, you know. We ran in different circles, and then like our circles intertwined as we got older and started drinking at the bars. And I became 21, so we started kicking it at the bars a lot, like every day. You know, and like LT liked to drink and party, and I liked to drink and party, and sometimes we'd get into adventures and stuff, go to concerts and shows and black out and not remember a thing. Since then, I've learned that I like to stay sober at shows and remember them.
I think the Blue Note's one of the best venues.
I've seen some phenomenal shows there. Slayer.
Were you at the
Primus.
Slayer and Clutch and
Yes.
Yep. Makes me mad.
I was in the pit.
It wasn't System of a Down and they opened that show or something?
No, was it?
I'd always heard it was Slayer, Clutch, and System of a Down, and my mom was like, "No, you cannot go to this show. It's a fucking school night."
What's really cool is my friend Hagen had just gotten out of prison.
He's dead, right?
He's dead. He had
Chris
like
Hagen, do you know him?
he had a brain aneurysm and stuff. He was awesome.
Sounds
Kinda.
familiar, but I don't know.
But he had just gotten out of prison, and I got a hold of his PO, and I was like, "Yo, Slayer's his favorite band. You got to let me take him." She's like, "You got to take responsibility for him and make sure he doesn't get in any trouble." And I drank a bunch of Jack Daniels and thrashed a house next to a friend of mine. So I broke all the windows. I was bleeding. We were slayered out. You know, we were drunk. It was terrible.
I bet that was a fucking crazy show. And
Funny thing about Doke is no, he can't. Sometimes responsibility is not his strong point.
No. I'm like the opposite sometimes. I'm on a good streak right now.
Yeah. 9 years.
9 years. 9 years. Been married.
Responsible.
It's totally responsible.
So, but pretty responsible. Yeah, fairly responsible. So Clutch, System of the Down, and yeah, I've seen a lot of great shows there. I didn't see that show.
Did either of you guys go to Boco Mo Fest?
No.
MoFest.
So maybe I did go to a Boco Mo Fest. I feel like I at least like
If Everclear was there, I would.
partied like in the fallout of that
I've
or
never
something.
seen Everclear.
Like as people got back to Columbia, like
Yeah, because it was where it was out. Like
Paris, like Pinnacle Hill.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was a gun show in that same little area.
I don't know if I went or not. I think it was out by like Finger Lakes and all
It
that.
was out. It was out. I remember the one time. Yeah, because it was going that way for sure.
Yeah, no, it definitely was going that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't remember.
One of the scariest car rides I was ever in was with your sister in a yellow Volvo wagon that Rita used to have, and Amberly. It was like 100 miles an hour, and the thing was just fucking shaking. And I was like, "Slow it down." It was
What was she doing?
driving fast as hell.
Go where?
We were just out by there. Just,
Going out to Bocomo?
no, not the just
She was acting like a guy.
just driving fast as hell.
Only guys do weird shit like that, and my sister apparently.
I used to like to go to the Highlands and drive around in the unfinished houses, like in their yards and stuff.
We used to do it with our lights off, like drive around in the neighborhoods and stuff. We called it Ghost in the Poon Yard. And we would drive around in neighborhoods and try to throw something at someone else's car. Well, I thought we were all driving around with our lights off. I mean, we were shithead kids, you know.
Didn't it?
Ghost
It
in the
like
Poon
took
Yard.
them like 40 years to build the Highlands, and then they built the rest of the shit like within like 2 days.
It was wild, yeah.
Right? Like, because like look what you just said, I feel like I did the same thing like 5 years before that. And like, I feel like that Highlands building was like this like 10-year span. And then since then they've built 10 times as much in a third the time.
It's crazy, yeah. Like the last time I drove around through there, it was like double the size.
But it like,
And there's like hood houses. And
what
shit.
were they doing for so long in the fucking Highlands?
You have to
man?
have
Like,
a good mix in Columbia, you know, so you have like the people that can work around you.
don't
and
know.
stuff, and you know.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I built houses. Like I went through like 2 or 3 careers to where like I built houses, then went and finished them and roofed them, and you know what I mean? Like crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still doing it. I still build the houses.
Sorry. Sorry for your mother.
Me too.
So you've been responsible for 9 years, and then where were we going? Matt, where were you directing us?
I was just getting your all's origin story.
Yeah, so we met, we partied.
LT liked tattoos and I like tattoos, and we talked a lot about tattoos and stuff. And like, LT was like, "Yo, I know this guy. He does tattoos." And I was like, "You know, I've been listening to Slayer.
Oh yeah, I got
I need
Doke's
to
first tattoo.
I need to go get, you know, a burning fetus because I'm born to fire. I'm a ginger, you know." So he took me in to see Chet on the corner of Old 63 and Stadium.
The first Mr. Tattoo.
The first Mr. Tattoo, and
Such a good name for a shop.
let me just like, let me set the tone, okay? So we were just talking about this a while back, and you were like, who taught Scott how to tattoo? Seaman Scott from Mr. Tattoo. And I was like, well, Chet. Well, we kind of had forgot about Chet, but he obviously never forgot about Chet because that was the first person that ever tattooed him, right?
my
But
professional tattoo.
I think like Chet like floundered off into space somewhere, right? But like into meth or whatever.
He might still
Something
be
in
around,
Iowa.
who knows?
Something in Iowa, I think. Anyway, so Scott basically taught himself after a little bit of like Chet and A to Z to Huck. And
Simple
then, like,
Scott.
And then like after Chet left, Scott taught Ron how to tattoo, and then they moved downtown and opened up that shop.
Heavyweight.
Heavy. It was a heavyweight shop.
Was that
Those guys are
nice-
big.
Huh?
What was that shop called?
It was Mr. Tattoo.
Okay, Mr. Tattoo downtown.
Was that like right on like 8th Street on the corner of?
Like right
That
across
one
from
weird
Saint-
building?
from Jefferson Junior High School.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know if the building even exists anymore. I love that little building. It was like
it's
it was like an old market. Like
no, my friend's one of Zane's friends or something. His dad owns it, and it's like a hair salon now.
There used to be that little weird bike shop over there, little bicycle shop, and it was ran by a cult.
Ah, I love Colts.
Yeah,
great.
Not Waltz.
No. It was like
kind of cultish.
across from Jeff
Everybody
Jr.,
goes there,
and then you
shit.
go like right, like you're going down towards downtown. There used to be that fancy like electronics.
Oh, was they in the old?
It's like
I
that
think-
little building.
Yeah, I think they were in the old Mr.
That's what I was wondering if that's what it was. Yeah, it was like a weird cult. I saw all about it on TV like years later, and I was like, oh shit, those were those dudes. They're all like super skinny white dudes with crazy long beards.
That's where I did
bicycle shops.
my very first pain tattoo.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I bought one red Primo BMX tire from there, and could never afford the other one. So I just
So, I was piercing full time there, and they had me tattooing out of the house, and that's how this rolled around too. Is I actually did Doke. Well, almost every tattoo Doke has, except for maybe like 3.
I was gonna ask if these. I remember when you did like the bird and stuff.
Almost all but probably 3 or 4 tattoos I've done. But I did was it like the 5th or 6th tattoo I ever did?
Now's not a good time for me.
Oh yeah. Now's not a good time for him. I think it was like the 5th tattoo I ever did. It's like a tribal drawing that Doke did. I did it all with a round. I won't even. Probably like an 8 round, I would guess.
It was some like needles that Scott was like gonna throw away, and he like let.
No. I probably made those needles.
He was like, "These are the fucked up ones that LT made. You can have these, LTs. Congratulations."
So
he tattooed my bone.
well, my power source was an AC adapter that plugged into the wall, and it was hooked up to a Spalding and Rogers
I think
walker
it was like
machine.
the 7th or 8th tattoo or something. I think it was the 7th tattoo that you had ever done, and I was like super stoked. I was like, "Yeah," I was drawing this weird tribal ass weird stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll tattoo that, dude." And so I went and bought a big bag of weed and a couple racks of Budweiser heavy. And
You might not have heard about this, but like anytime I was going to tattoo, we needed a little beer, a little weed. And when I say, like a case or 2 and a bag of weed, brick weed.
Oh, good
good brick weed.
classic.
oh yeah, only the finest.
Some of the kids here ain't even seen brick weed.
Oh man, memory.
An ounce of it could fit in a cigarette pack.
Dude, I got excited last time I
Crazy.
saw a pack. Saw some. I was like, yes, let me see that. I popped it open, and it was like snap, crackle, pop. I mean, there was all seasons. Shit. It was awesome.
So, man, I keep getting lost.
Oh shit.
What year was that in that downtown Mr. Tattoo when we were talking about here?
Oh,
2000.
That was 90s. That was
90,
was
99. So,
that was like 98.
So
well,
it
I
must
can't.
have-
Yeah.
97, 98 maybe.
No, it's like right around 9. I started tattooing right around 2000. Like I was in because I was in Houston when I really I started on myself.
Yeah.
And then I came back up to Columbia and they gave me the machine. That was one of the first places I went was that place to see Scott and them and sell them some flash. And they were like, "Man, your shit's fucking gotten really good, bro. Here's like," they sold me like $70 or $80 worth of equipment, and there was a Spalding and Rogers walker machine, a couple tubes, and I had tribal black fucking dermographic ink, or tribal black dermographic, or not dermographic, but Starbright, the tribal black, not lining black.
no.
So this tattoo that I did on his leg is all done with tribal black.
Oh, it's black.
And I put it in with probably an 8 round.
It's black.
It's black, bro. It's ashy too.
So that would have been. I would have moved on from junior high to high school then, because I went to Jeff Junior, but then I don't know when I got.
I would say that was probably done in right in 2000.
Okay, yeah, I'd have been in high school then. Yeah.
I lived on O'Neill.
Because
Bridge.
probably 30 tattoos later is when they let me do a walk. The reason they let me do a walk-in is them fools made a bunch of money that day and they were tired and they didn't want to do. I was
He knew what
obsessed
he wanted to
with it.
do, and like like with most everything LT has done with his life, obsession has been his key in it. Whether it be,
I was so obsessed. That's what I wanted to do I'll fuck around, give away tattoos back then.
I had always heard about you. I mean, in that.
there's people right now to
time
this day
period.
that say LT owes them tattoos because of what he did to them back in the day. Like they're still out there.
Good luck.
They're out there crying because
Line up.
They see me. They're like, "Oh, you running with LT? We heard he's doing good."
I am.
That motherfucker fucked him.
I am.
Look at this. Look at this bullshit he did.
Check me out. I did. I'm good. That's why I live in St. Louis, so you fools can't get to me.
That's what I said.
It's like if they live in Columbia, it's like they're a million miles away, really, because none of them fools are really gonna. Only like a few have came up here and they've gotten tattooed. You know what I mean? And they realize that you get good tattoos now. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it is. Like I don't know what to tell you. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, my neck stops people, and they're like, "What the fuck?" When they see that my tattoos on my neck and stuff, my snake. They're always loving on the snake, and then the bird. They're like, "Oh," I'm like, "Yeah, repping in Missouri."
Doke's definitely got the progression of my tattoo ability too.
It's like 140 hours, I think, is what I got tattooed by LT.
You got to realize a lot of that was really slow. Some of it not very efficient at all. But, I mean, he can show you some color portraits that were being done when really nobody else was doing that shit. And I did them with coil machines, and they're still in there. You can tell that it's Yoda. You know what I mean?
It's a little ashy.
Oh, you're hella ashy. You're Ashton Kutcher right now. Coochie. You just want to smoke the best. Always. Or I do. I'm just funny like that.
I'm about one more dab from fainting. Just one.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to tell you all that he saw.
Oh, yeah. And I want to get up and run right now, guys.
Yeah, he's paranoid right now.
LT.
Afraid
It's
that
funny because
the
whenever
FBI's
I get
coming
high, I just want to go run. I just want to run. So it's nothing. I don't want to do anything. Nothing's going to get accomplished. I just run in circles.
So, back then when you were getting tattooed and stuff, what were you doing, like, with your life?
I don't know. Living life as a professionally awesome.
Yeah, you were living over off Pfeiffer.
Yeah, on Pfeiffer, I was running Jimmy John's. We were a bunch of misfit kids running Jimmy John's, and it was horrid. We should not have been in charge.
I was going there. I remember.
Yes, like
The food was good.
we did okay. I tried to keep it down to a total roar, but alcoholism was running rampant, and drug use and stuff. I mean, it was fun. College town.
I worked there
Stuff. Yeah, I hired everybody, fired a bunch of people.
for a week.
You worked there for like a week.
1 week. I got fired.
Freaky fast.
I was so fast. You would freak. I was doing a little powder.
Yeah, and
A little rock.
We were running around and starting to tattoo, and we were all just drinking at the bars and stuff. It was pretty awesome. I was a night owl, staying up till like 4 o'clock in the morning, and LT was up at 4 o'clock in the morning somehow.
So we got into investments and distribution and with a friend of ours.
Yeah, we were
And
allegedly part of a small group of people who did things for people.
Made sure that Columbia had a nice supply of
Just doing our
brickweed.
part. We got into some fun situations with that. There's lots of, romanticized drug stories with that. There was
Tell us one.
I don't know. The romanticized drug stories. Now that I'm on the spot, then like.
So, we were doing that, traveling a lot, making some moves around town. We were moving between Kansas City and Mexico,
Everywhere.
and
You know, we were
then
drafted.
what year was it that they came and knocked on your door?
I got arrested in 2004 for manufacturing distribution with intent or
I know what you want.
of marijuana and cocaine, and I had a few firearms also,
Yeah.
which they frowned upon. Which was, you know, like looking back on it, it's pretty funny, but at the time, it was the worst thing that could ever happen to me. Happened, you know. I told the police, I was like, "Oh man, you guys, man, if you guys wouldn't have busted me, you know, I probably would have just kept on doing it and stuff." And I was like, "Man,
I told him he was the worst drug dealer.
I was like, man, I'm a bad drug dealer. I don't even have money to bail myself out." And this guy, Jason Jameson was the cop's name who busted me. It was his first felony bust. And he goes back to the like paper and stuff, and in the paper they print, Mr. Nathaniel Doke says he's the worst drug dealer ever, and he was never going to stop. And it's like, you know, it's like, and they totally twisted my words, everything that I said. Like even in my like police report, like it is so laughable. But you know, that cost me a gajillion dollars. And I got to go hang out in county jail for a couple days.
There's a little grass
And that was kind of the end of my
in the corner.
career as then. So I turned to drywall and cooking, and I while this was happening, LT had gone to Yuma to hang out for a couple times, and got a shop and ended up buying it. And then I broke up with a girlfriend and was working some shitty job, and so LT called me up. You know, LT and I, we were tight. You know, we call each other. You know, we've always talked to each other. You know, at least once a week. You know, since I know. You know, if I'm not talking to him once a week, it's because he's lost in Europe and he doesn't know how to get a hold of it. You know what I'm saying? And so he was like, well, and I was just getting ready to get off paper, and he was like, well, why don't you come down to Yuma and learn how to tattoo? And I was like, shit, yeah, sounds like an awesome plan. And I went down there, and I tried tattooing and stuff, but I'm a redhead, and I guess I shake all the time, and like, it's hard to like come at a motherfucker when you're trying to tattoo, and like doing this. I did
We never got that far.
I did a lot of piercing and stuff. I did like 75 piercings or something, and I don't know, we hung out in Yuma for a couple of years. And then LT went and hung out with Roman, and I ended up coming back here and getting stuck. I tried working with Simple Scott for a little bit, but then I got drunk for like the entire summer. Sparks. Remember that Sparks?
Yeah, so you moved down to Arizona with me.
Yeah.
You worked the tattoo shop for,
Yeah.
what, about a year, really?
Yeah, a year and some change.
I mean, you were down there really like off and on for like 2 years, but you were down there for a good solid year.
I tried going down there when I was on paper, and I got caught, and I had to immediately fly back to.
But you didn't get caught.
No, I didn't.
No. Let's tell the truth. You didn't get caught.
No,
You
I didn't.
freaked out. So Doke did what he normally does.
I do freak out a lot.
He freaks out,
I have to admit.
runs back. Everything's chill, man. Nothing's happened. They were being a little weird. This is back when they cared about probation. Ever since my son on the pandemic, bro, he was like, probation's tight. They don't even do anything, dog.
I remember my mentor Mel. After I guess he would he was talking. He almost went out there and did he, or he was gonna come do a guest spot with you. He wanted to.
He never did come do a guest spot.
He always wanted to. I remember you.
Yeah, no, he could have.
Which one was Mel?
Huh?
Which one was Mel?
Dreads. He worked at Rockstar with
Yes.
Flowers.
That's my guy. I love Mel. Yeah, he did that trout on his foot. I remember.
Yeah.
I was trying to get a lot of them dudes to come out there during the rush, bro.
We had a
Terry
few.
Dutra come up from Florida.
Terry. Tattoo Terry is the man.
Who else came out? Casper came out.
Casper came out and made a ton of money.
Got this guy named Jason. I can't remember his last name now. Kent
Kent
from the lake. You know Kent.
Yeah.
He came out and kicked it for a while. It was fun.
Well, that's how I found out that he had all of Doc's stuff. And, like, Doc had gave me a bunch of stuff. So, like, then Kent was like, oh, well, I have this stuff from Doc for you. All the fucking Burt Grimm shit. That's all I got left is that one acetate up there. Sold on my flash. It's over that panda painting.
No. Okay.
See it?
This one right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That acetate.
It's like a little stinker.
Yeah. I think it's 2 of them.
Yeah. Little stinker.
No, we tried to. I remember going to tattoo conventions with Healthy and like figuring out what was going on at them and stuff. We went to Hell City.
We spent a whole weekend at the Arizona Hell City.
Yeah.
That was like before I was.
That's before I moved down.
I got tattooed by Kurt Bear.
Oh yeah, your chest, right?
Yeah. I got tattooed by Kurt Bear at that show.
Derb Morrison.
Yeah. I was just trying to.
It was an awesome show.
We spent the whole weekend there. Like we walked around the floor,
suspension.
like attendees, bro. We walked around the floor like I probably went around that thing 75 times.
But,
you
like,
know what I
we
mean?
didn't even really know what was to expect either. You know, this is like a learning experience of like what a convention is, you know.
That was like I'm sure it's still there. I've never been, but that was always like seemed like a fucking badass show.
Well, and it was that was at the Biltmore in Arizona, right?
Which was dope.
Like we had like like I was saying, we walked around that thing like 30 times. I think the last day, Sunday, we just laid in the hotel room with robes on and shit, and like opened up like the sun thing. I'm telling you,
it was good
because like we worked all the time in Yuma because again we weren't really from there, and I wasn't drinking, and like we just had our heads down just working constantly, and so we took this little trip up to there, and I got tattooed by Kurt, and like just spent the whole weekend there buying stuff and hanging out, like some attendee shit, bro. And then we went and did I didn't do the show, but I went and saw. I have pictures of this too. Fucking
I think
Bob Tyrell and Jack Rudy did a collaboration at this seminar that I took of theirs.
Nice.
And it was at the Mesa Tattoo Convention in Mesa, Arizona, which is Phoenix. And it's put on by Sage. I don't even think it exists anymore. But that was like, I think that was the first show. We drove up and went back the same day or whatever. We did the seminar and shit, but
we went to one over there where the London Bridge is now. Where's that?
Lake Havasu. But
Lake Havasu.
That was a really shitty one.
Oh, it
we
was
just
so
walked
bad.
through and we like.
But it was like $10. I think we went to saw something cool that time. The Valley of the Palms.
We did a lot of stuff, bro. We went out to Guru and met up with those dudes and got tattooed. That's where I met Adam Hawthorne, and I got tattooed by Craig Driscoll when he was working there. And then we ended up going out to I don't know.
He was always trying to just spread his wings and meet all the tattoo artists and stuff he could, you know, and drink it all in, you know. We were out there and he was on a mission, you know. It was cool. We got to travel around and see a bunch of cool shit, and then he got to like partied up with Roman and moved out there, La La Land.
Yeah.
I did not like LA.
He goes, yeah.
Well, I come to like, so, like, I didn't close the shop because it was an unsuccessful. I closed the shop because I got a job offer from Roman, and it seemed like a good idea at the time to just follow my career with him. I was sitting in a desert, kind of, as I would say, fading off into the darkness, man, because like
It was floundering and it was driving him nuts. And then he was like beating his head against the wall because, wanted to grow and do cool shit.
there was no help. You know what I mean? Nobody was going to be better than me to come work with me, and like I wasn't going to get any better working with people that weren't better than me. So
he ran off and
I sold the place and moved to Yucaipa, and Doke moved back to Colombia. And then I did that for a while, and Doke would come out and visit some.
every chance I'd get, if I could scrape together some money, I was single. Worked sometimes and stuff. I was part of a moped club in Colombia for a while.
Nice.
We worked on the 1970s two-stroke engines and stuff. I had a 1979 Hobbit, which is a Honda. It was awesome. It was a 50cc, and I rode it from Colombia to St. Louis one time. It took us 9 hours.
Nerd shit.
It was super nerdy. We rebuilt it. It was something to do.
I used to run with some dudes around here that were
Yeah,
in that scene, and then
Biker gang.
the mopeds, and then the
moped
Vespas.
flips. It was fun. It was a cool underground scene. But LLT was running around in San Francisco and
Yeah, so Doke come out. Were you single when you came out? No, that was your birthday. Your wife sent you out, right, for your birthday?
when I got my neck tattooed on,
For the Wu-Tang.
No,
You were
Wu-Tang. I was single. I was just fucking dumb.
you were with your brother,
Yeah, I was with little. That's when.
or were you just out visiting? No, he got you out there, and he went up north.
Well, I wasn't. I was sitting on my ass in Colombia, not doing shit, and he was like, "Come out here to California and hang out."
So his brother pops up in San Francisco, and he was doing things up north, and so on and so forth, right? And so I started a back piece on him. He brought Doke out because he was doing things around there, and like we were hanging out. And that was your birthday, though, right? No,
because
you were just there for that.
I think it was like
So-
January or something.
Yeah, the weather's just so nice in San Francisco. It's hard for me to tell you. It could be any day of the.
Yeah.
So anyway, we met up with our old friend, the Judío, and I had bought tickets for Doke to go. Bro, I'm telling you, I bought you the tickets, I thought, for your birthday. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, I got Wu-Tang tickets at the fucking Fillmore,
I was
San
so
Francisco.
excited. I was floored. I got to say, I got off the plane, and it was a weird situation.
So I'd like to note that I wasn't even smoking weed at the time. I'd been
I
sober
was smoking all of it for both of us.
Right. So we hung out with our old boy, the Judío, and we're fucking kicking it around. They're like, man, the Judío goes, I got this candy bar from the dispensary. It's fucking 150 milligrams. I'm like, eat it, Doke. Don't be a pussy, eat it. He's like, oh, I don't know, man. We're like, nah, eat the motherfucker.
I
Eat
ate
it, eat it. So he eats the whole, and he tries to like pussy a foot around and eat a little more, like, eat the whole bitch. So he eats it. Then we're like, I don't know, it's probably like 45 minutes later, something. We're in line at the fucking Fillmore, waiting on the fucking going inside.
We're talking about how cool it is to see Wu.
Oh man, we're fucking stoked. And Doug's like, oh man, I don't know if I should have ate that whole candy bar, bro. And I was like, oh, you're all right, bro.
I fainted. It was too
fainted.
much for my poor little brain.
On the fucking concrete. So I'm like standing over, I'm slapping him. I'm like, fool, get up. We about to go in this show. He says, what, man? Oh, man, I don't know what happened. Get him. Like, takes a minute. We get him to his feet. We're standing there still, and we're like walking along. He goes, oh, man, it's happening. And he's gone again. So I slap this fool around, get him up again, and he's like, fuck. So whenever he fainted, he fell down and twisted his ankle.
It was the worst pain ever.
Ugh.
And I was retarded high.
He was retarded high, paranoid.
I was so bad. It was so bad.
So then his brother had to walk him to the car,
Limping,
and put him in the car so he could lay in there and freak out while I went into the show and fucking kicked it. I saw the whole motherfucker. I was like, I could almost touch Meth Man's head.
I was having a spiritual experience.
In the balcony. It was general admission.
In the back of an Isuzu or something.
I was like, and then as soon as I came out of the show, he's like, I'm much better now, man. I was like, you should have fucking just went in there, pussy, and fucking toughed it out. You're already fucking fucked up and all fucking.
I twisted my ankle real bad. It was terrible. I had to limp around San Francisco with a cane.
We had to get him a walker and shit. Not a walker, but a cane.
So
I had to get him a cane.
But then, like,
it was swelled up like that. He
crazy.
was stuck.
And you have to walk everywhere in San Francisco, So I'm over there hobbling around and stuff. I had a great time hobbling around. I was just slow as a motherfucker. My brother and his homie Thomas took me up into the Redwood Forest.
I'm so stupid.
Yeah, they took me up into the Redwood Forest, and we had to like walk around and shit. But I saw the Avenue of the Giants, was just dope. And
you can drive through that shit.
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, but I still had to get out and walk a little bit. But we drove through some trees. It was cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was a good time. And then, my wife. That San Francisco trip was
so. And I also want to state the fact that I didn't say this year when we saw Wu-Tang Clan, but I'd like to state the fact that you really missed the good Wu-Tang Clan show, and that this show could not even make up for it. This thing was so sad. But I'm glad you got to see him.
Got to see Wu-Tang.
And you did get to see Busta Rhymes, which
that's the best.
That's
the second time I've gotten to see Buster.
Yeah, the other one was better. I'm sure of it.
It was Smoking Grooves, 1998.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like back when he was like Busta Rhymes,
that was
not Buster Rhymes.
Buster.
He's bustered out now, fucking doing monologues and shit.
I don't know. Didn't he kill it the other night at like some show or something?
On geriatric show, maybe.
Motherfucker.
I don't know. Like, well, I really think that like West Side Gun's doing something with him like that I think's kind of unique. But like I said, he like slowed it down and made it more like old man shit. You know what I mean? And like it's tight, and that's cool. But he should do old man shit. He shouldn't be doing. That's just not what he does no more. He ain't got that no more. You know what I mean? Like that's young boy game. He ain't got that no more.
But yeah, I overdosed on weed at Wu-Tang.
Yeah, there was the OD.
I overdosed when it was a terrible time. I felt really silly for that one, and then whatever, I got over it. Now I got a story to tell. It would have been cooler if it was more just mobbing around San Francisco. I was going to meet up with the Moped Club in San Francisco and ride around with them was my plan. I did not get to do that, but whatever. San Francisco was a magical place, man, especially at that time. There's this place behind LT's house called Sang Tongues. It was like a 45-minute wait wherever you went in there. And but it was worth it every time.
Of Asians.
Everybody was there.
Not just white people that like Asian food, but that's how you knew it was good.
Yeah.
Like,
dude,
the first time I was like, man, there's a lot of Asian.
This is like LT's favorite place and stuff. So like he would take me there, and it became my favorite place in America to eat.
I just want to say that I was let down last year when I went there, and it was to go only. It made me never want to ever go back to San
Vegetarian
Francisco.
dumplings.
I'm serious about what I just said.
Dang.
It really bummed me out, bro. Like, you can't, like, it just ruined the whole food. And then I ate it on a park bench across the street from the place. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, I was like, you know what? I don't think I come here no more. And San Francisco was whack last year. Like, it was still heavily affected by the pandemic. I don't know if it's like that right now, but that shit last year was still hella whack. Like,
I still got awesome memories of jumping from neighborhood to neighborhood in San Francisco with him. It was cool.
I have awesome memories, but I'm just saying last year those memories weren't.
Yeah.
When me and Mike Klein, my bud Mike Klein, went last year, there was a dude that he rolled up. Yeah, he was like in a wheelchair, but he had it rigged up on one of them like scooters you rent,
Yeah.
like a fucking trike. It was sick.
That's dope.
He,
So you
it
just
was
got
like-
to ride in the back of it?
he got his wheelchair up on where the feet go, that part, and the wheels were just off the ground, and he just fucking.
Oh, that's
zipping around.
awesome.
It was the shit. He rolled up. He's like, "You got a cigarette?" And we're like, "No." And he goes, "Okay." And then he just took.
Nobody smokes cigarettes
Like,
anymore, dude.
he was in his chair. It wasn't like built or nothing. He
No,
just
no. It was,
set
he got his wheelchair
up on
It was
that
like
thing.
a manual, and he got it up on that.
Oh, it's a manual. Oh.
And he was just. It was tight because our Airbnb was like right on this main drag and kind of like a weird little area, and yeah, we saw him a couple. He was just cruising. He just rolled up. We were like, "What the fuck was that?" It was like a chopper, like a trike, It was,
No, I
and
get
he
it
just zipped
now.
on, man. I was like, "Man, that guy's got the setup. He looked like he was living." And then I'd say we went down this street. It was like it was like 7th or 8th or something, and the Uber. It was the gnarliest street I've ever been on. Like it was like something from a third world like movie or something.
Over in the Tenderloin or something?
Not far from there. Yeah,
That place is scary.
it
I've
was
been
like,
sweating there. I went over there with that one piercer dude from Iowa. I can't remember his name. But we went to protest Obama one night, and we had to pay to do it. But so we didn't go. We just went to a bar instead. But we had to walk through the Tenderloin, and it was.
What was
pretty
that
rough.
fool's name?
Maybe it started with an S or something. Fuck, I don't know.
Sid.
Sid.
Like acid. Sid. Yeah, actually, Doke visited me a couple of times out in San Francisco. We had a good time out there.
Because LT was like on vacation when he was living there, so it was like, I'd be on vacation. Sometimes he'd like go there and like be busy and stuff, or I'd go try to kick it with him, and like he'd be tattooing too much, and I'd never get to see him or nothing. But when he was in San Francisco, I go out there and he'd tattoo me and stuff. I loved getting my neck tattooed out there. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
what was the last tattoo you got?
From LT was my neck, and we did that over at what's that place?
Self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted.
Been a while since you got one from
Yeah,
him?
I have. That was the last tattoo I got. Just haven't gotten any tattoos. A lot of the tattooing hurts LT a lot too, and so and he's my homie. I know now that it hurts him to tattoo me. And it's not like he's gonna be like, Doke, you got to pay me for this too. So I'm like, I don't want to make.
Yeah.
He's only got so many tattoos left, and
Doke doesn't really want to spend the money it costs to get tattooed by me now.
Nah, he's expensive.
Not on the fridge. You know what I mean? Because even as a friend, I'm like, you know what, dog? I'm just gonna have to charge you too much because I really don't want a tattoo.
So I ain't really, I don't know, not in the budget. Not in the budget.
They hurt too.
They fucking hurt, bro. Ain't no. The older you get, getting tattooed ain't all that cool. I ain't looking any cooler getting them. So laying there for 7 to 8 hours to look different doesn't really turn me on much anymore. I give a fuck less.
The
For real. But with that saying, I'm gonna laser all my arms off and have them all redone in cholo shit.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
Black gray cholo shit, just like that. Like, I've already started getting this lasered up here, but I was like, man, I think I just want to take everything off and just get it all black and gray, like that. Like,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
you know, I could probably go to a couple dudes in LA and get my arms done in fucking no time.
Yeah.
Like 2 days.
Yeah, super cool.
You know what I mean? Go lay there for like 12 hours each day and probably be done. Except 14 hours on both the back of my thighs.
Ugh.
I could do it. I just don't like it.
Yeah. My neck was the last time, and that was 7 hours with the Bluebird.
So let's back it up. We didn't ever really. When did you start smoking weed?
Me?
Yep.
When I was 3.
He's 3. Now let's elaborate on that.
My mom was a free spirit, and she had some free-spirited young boyfriends. And this one, I was a loud-ass kid. I'm a ginger, you know. I was loud and obnoxious and stuff. And I can remember this day, and so can my brother. We talk about it. I mean, like, we both remember this. And he was just a little bit younger. And this guy decided he was outside smoking a joint, and we were being obnoxious and bugging him. And he totally handed us the joint, and we both smoked it with him. It was a pivotal time in my life. And, of course, you know, but I remember that, you know, and there's always like the tray of weed underneath every couch I ever went underneath. And my parents' friends,
so like, let's back it up a little bit. You said your mom's a free spirit. So let's talk about the free spirit. So
I was raised a feral child. I didn't know what a swimsuit was till I was 5. You know, I didn't have sugar or meat, you know.
Somewhat of a hippie commune, some would say.
Like
Some people might say that I was
And where was this at?
in Lupus, Missouri,
Which is
right across the river from Columbia, Missouri. So I lived like 35 minutes away from Columbia.
hippie hillbilly.
There's like a lot of artists and stuff in Lupus and stuff. It's a tiny little town, and you know, I was a weird ass little kid too, and we went to this country ass town, and I got my ass kicked a lot. I was really good at getting my ass kicked. Like I could probably win every fight from here on out for the rest of my life and still have a losing record, because I would just get the shit kicked out of me. But you know, and like I was just a weird kid too, you know, redheaded and you know, raised by hippies, and you know, I was never wearing the cool clothes or anything like that, you know. But I always, you know, weed was always around. My parents were always running off smoking it at parties and stuff.
So
I can like the smell of a paper joint, like when it first ignites, takes me back to my childhood. You know, like those smells that like take you back and stuff. That shit takes me back to when I was a kid, you know. Rolling around with some shady dude, you know, and weed has always been around. During the flood in '93, the water got up in my house a bunch and stuff, and we had to figure out a way to do it, and we did and stuff, and there's lots of things happening and stuff. I just kind of grew up around marijuana and stuff.
yeah, so didn't your stepdad was a cultivator for several years, right?
You know, always just, you know, doing some guerrilla stuff. And it was always fun. You know, sometimes, you know, people would show up and stuff, you know, and they'd have messages and I'd have to deliver them. They'd make sure that I knew and stuff and would, you know, give me things, money, whatever, you know. It was fun. It was a weird way of growing up, you know. We always had some craziness going on, but and then into my 20s, my teenagers, when I was a teenager in downtown Columbia one time, I was hanging out with these dudes and stuff, and they were cool and stuff. We'd smoked a couple times and stuff in Peace Park and shit.
Yeah.
And then we ran into them over on 9th Street one time, and they're like, well, do you guys, you know, want to make some money, And they're like, we're like, fuck yeah, dude. And they're like, well, this is gonna be weird, but we need to blindfold you. And I was like, why? So you guys don't know where we're going. And they took us to this place, and we trimmed a bunch, and we got paid and weed and stuff. It was awesome. So I had like a good supply when I was stuff, as the hookup. It was fun. And then in my 20s, we always were experimenting and trying and stuff with growing, and we'd rent out houses and fill them up, and I was always doing drywall, and I've gotten kind of good at helping people set up rooms. By doing their drywall and their grows, and
I can see that being very beneficial.
it is, you make it, you can put up 2x4s and then insulate it and form the room, where you need a workspace,
He's helped me grow. He's helped me build all the rooms that we've done.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's helped me, I've done a couple more besides that, but not many. But LT's, he's always getting wild hairs up his ass and stuff, and it's like Doke, we need to do this. Like, all right, dude, I'm coming up, we're doing it, and we'll just like work and grind. LT have always been, and I've always had this, we always grind and try to be productive and awesome and make sure our time is spent worthwhile, not just hanging out and sitting on smoking weed on the couch watching TV, but
We never do that.
we do that, but like, we do other
Rarely.
things. But like talk about, what is going on and how we're going to approach things with even, how we deal with life, with LT being in recovery and stuff, he's helped me look at a lot of things in my life and stuff. I've had to, when I was on probation, I had to do some stuff with recovery, and it taught me a lot on how to accept and deal with like all these weird resentments and why I freak out all the time. I mean, like,
Don't freak out.
I'm freaking out right now. And, LT's taught me a lot with that. And now we're doing the cannabis thing. And we've done that. What's really awesome is we've done the conventions and stuff, which is like when LT told me about it. Like
He wasn't here this weekend, just to remind everybody.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, it's cool. My ace deuce just ain't there. That's tight. It's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel you. Yeah, because he's married. I understand.
It's the times,
Things.
things,
People.
wives, kids.
Wives.
But
Anyway,
this was a small win.
he's here now.
I'm here right now. I'll be there right now. And I was here right now. But the tattoo conventions have been really fun to do with LT and stuff.
Yeah, I bet.
The first one was like, to pull that off was quite the feat, and it was just amazing. And we've just been on a roll since then. Every one of them, there's been a lot of learning experiences and stuff, Like it hasn't been easy. None of them have. They've all had their challenges and stuff. We try to make them look like they run smooth, but, which they do. But sometimes we have to put out some motherfucking fires,
Yeah, gratefully, Doke's been there to help me through the whole thing.
And it's just being, trying to help out, be a team player and shit.
So I'm gonna give us a little walk through what we got here, and I think probably gonna wrap up.
Cool.
So I just was on a trip out to California, and I was able to stop in, and man, some dudes really held me down out there. My boy T from Little Lake Valley Hash Company sent me back with some expiration date. F2, this thing's really nice. It's one of my favorites. My boy Sean from Quality Squishes, though, he fucking held me down with like, man, I got this burnt plastic.
Kind of gassy, but kind of a milder smell.
It's got like a fruit to it, too.
Yeah, a little fruity.
Doesn't hit you in the nose quite as hard as some of them.
I think it has a real unique taste, kind of, I get like a peanut butter finish off of it, kind of. And then, but yeah, man, Quality Squishes put me on some really nice shit. We've been smoking burnt plastic here tonight. Smoked some of my rock candy. You checked that out earlier?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rock candy is fire.
I've heard good things.
This is the guava yogurt that I made. Gru made.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, I'm still
Tickled my nose hairs.
It's a tickler. Definitely a tickler.
So, yeah, this is that expiration date. Smoking out of the mothership. I had my Mia piece out, but it broke. Y'all didn't get to see that shit. Hopefully I can get it fixed. It's fucking whack. I don't know why it broke. But, this is that burnt plastic from my dude at Quality Squishes. So that's what's called fresh press. That's you. And fresh press is when it, like, how it first comes out from when you press it. And, like, the best way I can explain it is it's a moment in time. It's a type of nucleation that it does, or oxidization or something. And then it changes, and the terpenes are different, and the texture is different. And so even now, that thing's changing. And like the way it was when I took it out earlier, and it's starting, you can tell it's starting to become cloudy and starting to nucleate. So like in some ways it'll start to become like this, and like probably by tomorrow morning, this little piece will be more like this, and then I can kind of whip it up and it'll change and taste a little different. But it's a real unique flavor and high when it's like in fresh press too. I think this is some Platinum Kush Breath that Routine Gardens grew, and then I processed.
That F2 is delish.
T's fucking expiration date is fire. That fucking burnt plastic's such fire, though. It hits you in the head. And then I got like some lows. I got some Donnie Burger. This just was like some bulk stuff that my dude at Quality Squishes was able to put me on when I was out there. This is some GMO. And I don't think I have it with me. I did have some. The purple banana is fire. The honey jelly's fire too. And those were the lows. Yeah.
Variety pack over here.
How's that pen treating you?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, I love it. That's my speed.
You just do like a couple of little hits at night or something?
Yeah. I'm in bed. I like to make the light on the end, like
The old dab light.
shine
It's
it on
nice.
the ceiling. Yeah.
It's cool. Like I like the pens and stuff.
Sometimes I'll do it while wearing my CPAP machine.
Bold strategy.
I don't. That sounds like candy flipping. I don't even know what that means. I want a CPAP machine so I can.
Oh, they're great, dude. I love it. And then it's just funny to do while, hitting the,
Nice. I want that. I want that in my life.
help you sleep good too.
Well, I'm glad to get back in the saddle here. I hope. Well, I know like we'll get something set up for early March. I'm trying to stay consistent on this, people, and we're trying to stay consistent. I got a lot of going on this year, so I traveled and we had a lot going on this, but
Yeah, it's great to be back.
yeah, I hope we can put together a couple guests over March. Be ready for April, man.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Awesome. All right, well,
Thanks for having me on, guys.
yep.